Imagine one day you wake up just for the sunrise. But instead of sun, all you could see was total darkness, which brings us to a question. What if the sun exploded tomorrow? What if you never get to see the sun again? What consequences would it have on life on Earth and all the planets in the solar system? Well, that's what we discuss in this video today, so make sure to keep watching till the end to know a lot more about what happens when our sun finally ceases to exist. The sun provides light and heat that makes life possible on Earth. Without the sun, the Earth would be a cold, dark place and life as we know it would not even exist in the first place. The sun is also what helps the Earth regulate the Earth's climate. It warms the air and drives the weather patterns and creates seasons. Sun is also the main source of energy for life on Earth because plants use sunlight for photosynthesis, which provides food for animals and oxygen for us to breathe. It is also important for human health as sunlight is what helps our body produce vitamin D, which is important for the strength of the bones and a healthy immune system. But what will happen if the sun ceases to exist? Well, for the first 8 minutes, you're safe. Why is that so? Well, light takes about 8 minutes to reach our planet, which means you won't notice anything for the first 8 minutes. The sun is the anchor point of our solar system with 333,000 times the mass of the Earth. It is the sun's hefty pull that keeps planets locked into their orbit. If all the gravitational forces disappeared, it would still take us 8 minutes to feel it. This is because, according to Einstein's theory of relativity, gravity is something that travels at the same speed as light. So make sure that you make these 8 minutes count. The light from the sun is what keeps our planet warm, and without it the planets in the solar system would get extremely cold. Life will go extinct from the solar system, and we don't know if there is any outside our solar system. The solar winds from the sun will strip off the Earth's magnetic field, which will also take away the Earth's atmosphere. The threats of climate change are taken into account as well. But the good news is right after the first 8 minutes, the Earth won't be a total chaos. Electricity would still work. With no sunlight, photosynthesis would stop, but it would only kill some plants. There are larger trees that can survive for decades without photosynthesis. But within a few days, the temperature will begin to drop, and any humans left on the planet's surface would die right after it. Within 2 months, the ocean surface would totally freeze. But it would take another 1,000 years for the oceans to freeze completely. By that time, the atmosphere would totally collapse, radiation would seep in, and the Earth would become an inhospitable wasteland, drifting aimlessly through space. Luckily, the sun won't leave us any time soon, as the sun has been burning steadily for more than 5 billion years now, and it will continue to do so for another 5 billion years more. If our sun were to suddenly explode, then the entire solar system would be destroyed. A supernova is like bursting a balloon. But when our sun dies, it'll happen slowly, similar to how you gradually let the air out of the balloon. The sun will start to die when it runs out of fuel in about 5 billion years. This is a very long time, and let's say that when the sun starts to die, it will get bigger and slightly colder, turning into what astronomers call a red giant. If the sun actually becomes a red giant, it'll start to blow off its outer layers of the solar system, and then it'll get smaller and smaller, eventually becoming what we would call a white dwarf. Now, for those of you who don't know, a white dwarf is the core of a dead star. But don't let its small size fool you, because it is still super heavy, weighing almost as much as the sun while only being the size of the Earth. To put things into perspective, just a teaspoon of white dwarf would weigh about 6,000 kilograms. If you think about it, that's much as an adult elephant. Yes, just a teaspoon of it. A white dwarf is so small that it cannot produce as much as light, and it doesn't have any fuel to give it energy, so these planets will get colder and colder over time, and eventually everything is going to become dark. So when the sun is a white dwarf, most of the solar system will be still around. Planets like Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune will still survive and go around the sun. So will the asteroid belt, the Kuiper belt, and dwarf planets like Pluto. Maybe in the future humans might be able to build spaceships that will allow us to leave Earth, and we could build something to move back to Earth. We are safe for the next 5 billion years, so preserving our Earth should be our #1 priority. Thanks for watching.